solve the issue with Tawhid. I'll put it up on the screen for you so you can listen to it.
An argument that is presupposing ontological priority.
No, I didn't. The
Oh
argument
my
in
God.
this instead. Wait, hold on, beautiful. Me positing counterfactual dependency is a direct negation of ontological priority. Maybe this is a tracking issue on your end. Maybe I have to show you the definition of counterfactual dependency so you can understand.
So this lady claims that counterfactual dependency is a negation of ontological priority. First, that's just completely false. Let's understand what counterfactual dependency is and ontological priority. Counterfactual dependency is in modal semantics, right? We're saying X could not be the case without Y. And this is spanning across accessible worlds. So it's a claim about possible worlds. It does not tell you whether or not the objects in question are composed or not, because you can have counterfactual dependencies on composed objects. For example, a car could not exist without its engine, right? Just because there's a counterfactual dependency there, and if I were to formalize it in modal semantics, does not mean that the car is not composed.
The guy introduces Sister Chorus clip and immediately declares her statement. Counterfactual dependency negates ontological priority. Completely false. He explains counterfactual dependency via modal semantics. X cannot exist without Y in any possible world, and gives the car/engine example to show it does not negate composition or ontological priority. Tawhid requires no modal semantic solution because Allah has no composition and no dependency whatsoever. Quran 2:255, Ayat al-Kursi Allah, there is no deity except Him, the ever-living, the sustainer of existence, Al-Qayyum. To Him belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth. Al-Qayyum explicitly means the one upon whom everything depends while He depends on nothing. The guy's own example, car depends on engine, yet is composed, actually proves the opposite of what he intends. Dependence relations do not automatically create problematic composition for a fundamental entity. More critically, applying possible world semantics to Allah begs the question. It assumes Allah could exist in a world lacking any attribute, which is impossible for the necessary being whose existence is identical to His essence. This is circular. You presuppose contingency to create a problem of contingency.
Issue then is supposed to be that we're solving a parent's issue with composition in the Islamic God. You cannot just say counterfactual dependency as if that solves anything, because it does not. Counterfactual dependency is a consequence of establishing some ontological priority. It does not negate it. Once you say that the car or whatever, the part is prior to the car because the parts make up the car, then you can formalize it with modal semantics and say X depends on Y. But X depends on Y itself does not tell you or solve anything with composition. This is just a complete category error.
There is no composition issue in the Islamic God to solve. Quran 42:11. There is nothing like unto Him, laysa kamithlihi shay'un, and He is the hearing, the seeing. This verse simultaneously affirms real attributes and absolute incomparability. No creaturely category, composition, priority, dependency relations applies. The claim of category error is itself the category error. The guy imports Aristotelian/modern analytic categories, ontological priority, composition of parts, into Tawhid, and then complains when a Muslim response stays outside those categories. Logically, if the premise Tawhid involves composition like created objects is false, as Revelation states, then demanding a solution within those premises is incoherent. It is equivalent to asking, how does the square circle solve the problem of roundness? The problem is manufactured by the questioner.
The second part is she defined God as a set of essential properties. Now we're going to
Bud, essence is a set of essential properties, so absolutely not.
So
be charitable here and assume that she didn't literally mean God equals a set, because sets are not causal, which would just be completely incoherent if she did mean that God is literally a set in set theory. So we're going to assume what she meant is something closer to, you have some membership of items that constitute some entity, like bundle theory says, which says that you have, what a thing is just some bundle of properties. And so it's just so completely uncontroversial in bundle theory that the entities being composed, or the entities being spoken about, are composed, right? If you have something that exists in virtue of being a bundle, that means that there's explanatory priority in the properties and there's ontological priority in the properties, right? Which means that God ontologically would be dependent upon the unification, the collection of those properties, which would undermine Tawhid, because that undermines divine aseity. God is no longer independent existence. Those 99 properties are independent existence. So it's just a massive confusion. The real issue in Tawhid is how
The guy claims the lady defined God as a set of essential properties, charitably interprets this as bundle theory, then argues that in bundle theory properties have explanatory and ontological priority, so God would depend on their unification/collection. This would mean the 99 properties have independent existence and undermines Tawhid and divine independence, resulting in massive confusion. Islam never defines Allah as a set or bundle. Allah is the single, indivisible one who possesses all attributes eternally. The attributes do not exist independently or compose him. Surah Al-Ikhlas 112:1-4 say, He is Allah, the One, Al-Ahad. Allah, the eternal refuge, Al-Samad. He neither begets, nor is born, nor is there to him any equivalent. Al-Ahad equals absolute indivisibility, no parts, no internal composition. Al-Samad equals the self-sufficient upon whom all depend, with zero internal or external dependency. Sahih Hadith confirming attributes. Sahih al-Bukhari 7392/Sahih Muslim 2677. The Prophet said, Allah has 99 names. Whoever memorizes them enters paradise. These are his names/attributes, not independent entities that bundle to form him. Classic strawman fallacy. Sister Cora did not literally say Allah is a set in the philosophical sense. Even if she used loose language, the guy's charitable interpretation creates an absurdity only because bundle theory was never part of Islamic creed. You cannot refute position A by showing that a completely different position B, which it never held, leads to contradiction. Moreover, even within analytic philosophy, divine simplicity traditions, which the speaker later references, reject bundle theory for God precisely to avoid this dependency. So the speaker is attacking a position that sophisticated theists already abandoned. The argument collapses under its own assumption.
there could be a divine essence. Traditionally in Islamic theology, the divine essence is not defined by properties. Just like in Aristotelian metaphysics, essence is not defined by properties. It's just a complete category error. And how can the essence be really distinct from the attributes really distinct from each other, but the attributes are not identical to the essence, yet they're not separate existences? That's the issue that needs to be addressed, which is not being addressed by anyone that I've seen, and it's definitely not being addressed in the video that I just shared with you guys. So drop a like if you think you have a response to this. Please leave a comment. Otherwise, happy.
The guy states, the real issue in Tawhid is how there can be a divine essence. Traditionally, in Islamic theology, the divine essence is not defined by properties. He then claims the essence must be really distinct from the attributes. Attributes distinct from each other, yet not identical to the essence, and not separate existences. This distinction without composition or separation is the issue that needs to be addressed and definitely not being addressed by Sister Cora or anyone. The Salaf and the four Imams affirmed the essence and the attributes as the text described them. Real, distinct in meaning, yet without separation, without composition, and without likeness to creation. Sahih source. Quran 42:11. Again, there is nothing like unto him. This verse is the explicit prohibition against the very speculation the speaker demands. The Prophet never engaged in such essence versus attributes metaphysics. He taught Tawhid as Al-Ahad and Al-Samad. Sahih Muslim 8:11. The best speech is the book of Allah, and the best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad. There are multiple fallacies in his argument. Question begging. The guy assumes that real distinction must entail either identity, separation, or composition, a false trilemma. Logically, two concepts can be distinct in ratio, by definition/meaning, while being one in reality, e.g., the morning star and the evening star are distinct descriptions but refer to the same planet. For the necessary being, this is even more coherent because existence equals essence. Special pleading for infinite regress, demanding a creaturely how explanation for the relation in the infinite creator is self-contradictory. Any explanation using finite logic would itself require further explanation, leading to infinite regress. Revelation cuts this off by declaring incomparability. Category error on steroids. The speaker admits Islamic theology does not define the essence via properties, then immediately judges it by Aristotelian standards that do. You cannot fault a system for not solving a problem it explicitly denies exists. If the speaker's own philosophical framework cannot coherently model a simple necessary being without paradox, that falsifies the framework, not Tawhid. Overall conclusion is every single claim in the video rests on imposing external philosophical assumptions, modal semantics, bundle theory, Aristotelian essence/attribute distinctions, that the Quran and Sunnah explicitly reject via Laysa Kamithlihi Shay'un and Al-Ahad, Al-Samad. Logically, the video begs the question at every step by assuming Tawhid must be analyzed like a created composite object. Revelation provides a self-consistent, non-contradictory Tawhid that has been held by the Salaf for 1,400 years without philosophical crutches. The alleged logical problem dissolves the moment one accepts that the Creator is not bound by the logic of the created.